friends. It's Angela here. Welcome to week 11. I'm so excited about today, which is all about reigniting a sense of adventure. And we are reading the book, It's Never Too Late to Begin Again by Julia Cameron. And we've been reading this together for this will be 11 weeks. Wow. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angela. I live in Northern Canada and we have a homestead here. And if you're watching this, you might be watching it on my personal channel, which is called Buckridge Homestead on YouTube, or you might be watching this on my coaching channel, which is Create, Heal, Shine. So as a professional counselor and coach, I started this new channel, and I really hope that you'll join me here on Create, Heal, Shine. This is where I want to kind of move over all my journaling stuff. So it kind of is a little bit more cohesive for you guys. And I'm really excited to start this channel and have fun with it. And I can't wait to see where it goes. But if you want to follow my health stuff and my homesteading stuff, that is on Buckridge Homestead. So anyways, here we are reading together through our amazing book, and we only have one chapter left after this, so that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Week 12. So if you have any awesome book ideas, let me know. I have a few in mind that we can do next. I'm really excited about them. And if I don't hear back from any of you guys of which one you would prefer, I will just pick one and we will go for it. One that I've been really wanting to do. I just wanted to share, where is my other book? I've got a big mess going here. The other book that I'm reading at the same time, which is so lovely, is I'll give you an update on it. This is the Gladys McCary book. The Well-Lived Life, a 103-year-old's doctor's 6 secrets to health and happiness at every age. I am really loving this book. So it's definitely one to go get. It just came out on Amazon and she's amazing. I don't know if you can see a little picture of her, but if you watch her on any YouTube videos, she is so intelligent and she is so articulate with her words for 103. She's amazing. So if you need a little other inspiration besides this book, that's a wonderful one to read. So hopefully I will finish this in the next couple days. I'm going to be going on a road trip. I might bring it with me and read it in the car if I can. So we'll see. I'm waiting for new glasses to come in, and then I'll be able to see a lot better. So we'll see. I won't be getting them in until after I'm home. But in the meantime, I still have my old ones. So, all right, week 11, reigniting a sense of adventure. Now, who doesn't love thinking about adventures? I do. So how we've been doing this book club, if you're just tuning in, I just want to let you know that you can start at any time. You can go ahead and start at week 1 at any time and do it as your leisure. You don't have to do it every week. You don't have to be regimented or anything. You can just find my week 1 book club video and start there and work your way. And if it takes you a few weeks extra to get through it, no big deal. You don't need the book, but you can. The book is obviously more detailed and full of different stories that I don't read. And I just do the highlights of each chapter together and the journal prompts together of each chapter so that you don't have to buy the book if you don't want to. But if you do have it, let me know what you think. And yeah, that would be awesome. I want to hear all about your journey. I have a couple other books from her. Write for Life, Creative Tools for Every Writer. This is all about inspiring you to how to actually finish your book or finish whatever you're writing. Maybe it's a blog, maybe it's creative stories, whatever it is. That's a really good book. And then this is the original, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And this is also, she calls it a course, but I don't really find it to be a course, but how many chapters is in this one? In the original book, there are 12 chapters as well. So she calls that like a 12-week course. Same with this book that we're doing. It's Never Too Late to Begin Again. All about discovering creativity and meaning at midlife and beyond. So if you want to start at the beginning, feel free. If you want to, if you're just watching and you're starting now, this chapter is all about reigniting a sense of adventure. And all you have to do is write along with us, and you're doing your journal prompts and your morning pages, your artist dates, and your 20-minute walks. She talks about these things in the book that it's kind of based on the same thing that the Artist Way book is based on. Every week you'll be asked to go on 20-minute walks every day with no headphones, no dogs, no just you and nature walking, or you walking wherever you can. Depending what season you're also watching this, that can make a huge difference. And then going on a special, taking time to go somewhere just where you love to go, something special like a date for yourself, which she calls an artist date, which can just be a creativity day or whatever. And then writing 3 pages in your journal every day in the morning, first thing in the morning, when you get your coffee or tea or water, whatever that is for you. And then write just free-flowing writing. That's what I was going to say. So that is what we've been doing every week. So let's get started. First of all, she says, even in the second act of life, there's an unlimited potential for growth. It's not too late to take creative risks for the first time, to form new relationships and new kind of relationships, to see new places, set and meet new goals. These years are freedom, and it's time for adventure. The first chapter is called Risk for the Sake of Risk. Embarking on creative endeavors, we always win in that we are better for having tried than not try, whether or not the results meet our expectations. Stretching ourselves, we discover new strengths and interests. We expand into a fuller potential. We write a song, and no matter what happens after that, we've written a song. Our next song will come more easily. We now have something in common with all other songwriters. We inevitably increase our sense of self-worth just by having done it. And she says, speaking for myself as a writer, I find the blank page a daily challenge. I pray for guidance, and then I listen and write down whatever I hear. I try to let the great creator create through me, and I'm often surprised by the wisdom that I write, as if the idea came from somewhere just beyond me. So that's interesting thought, that stretching ourselves does make us, once we have done the thing, like once you have done this book club together, we have done the book club. You can say you've read that and you've actually completed it. And sometimes we tend to start a whole bunch of projects and never actually complete them. And they're, by just deciding that you're going to finish the book and read the book and do the book club along with me together, means that you've finished it. And it feels so good to finish a book before starting another book, because sometimes I'm bad for that too. And every example I use is because I've done it myself. So many times I've started other books and not finished the one that I'm working on. And I mean, there's time for reading fiction and then doing self-help and things at the same time. But when you're reading all the same type of work in multiple things going at once, it's really difficult to stay focused and on track and complete one. So I know that feels so good to finish, and we're going to complete this book. We are going to finish it. We are going to finish writing in our journal. It doesn't have to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfectionism. That's not even a thing, because nobody can be perfect. So we're going to do that. We're going to finish it, and we're going to feel amazing. Age may bring with it newfound courage. Risks we were afraid to take now become risks we must take. Looking back in your memoir, and the memoir is your journal that you've been keeping along with this book. In the book club, I said to start a fresh little journal in the beginning. That's what she suggests, so that you can read later on what it's like a complete memoir when you're done, of just, even if it's bullet points and dotted notes of everything from this book club. Looking back in your memoir, you may see risks that you avoided, repeated yearnings toward a certain art form or goal that you turned away from more than once. Sometimes the dream that we have closed our eyes to most repeatedly is the one that looms the largest, because dreams do not die. We may not act on them, but the ember of their desire burns on. Some may cite a fear of failure as a reason for not pursuing a dream. When we are young, many of us are concerned with what others think, what effect taking a risk might have on our personal or professional life. Later in life, these concerns may not loom as large, but the fears of being too old or underqualified may distract us. And in the end, the reasons we ignore our dream does not matter. The dream still waits. So do you have a dream? Do you have a dream that you've noticed has been coming back in your journaling or in your mind, that is resurfacing constantly, that you've always wanted to do, but you never have done it? Because this is a time in our lives where we can just take that risk and there's not so much fear. And if there is fear, it doesn't matter. Why? You don't have to prove anything to anybody. All you have to do is try the thing and do the thing. And if you haven't, there's so many quotes from famous people over time that talk about how if you've never tried something, even trying something and failing is so much better than never trying something at all. Many of us have lives that are, in some areas at least, risk-free. We may have even cultivated these risk-free lives because we think that that will make us have stress-free lives. But while stress from negative situations can be damaging, stress from confronting challenges or taking heavy risks can be energizing and motivating. When our lives feel lackluster, it can help to ask ourselves if there is a creative risk we could take but are not taking. A little healthy risk goes a long way towards a rewarding sense of aliveness. It is important to remember that risks can take many forms. The possibilities are unlimited, yet we ourselves contain the answer to the risk we'd like to take. The answer is ours alone to define. Making art always involves risk, and the reward in artistic actions is experienced in a body of work. And then she goes on to talk about different people's stories and different risks that they always wanted to do and didn't take. And those are really interesting. And then she also says, I still refer to risks I take in my life today as jumps. A day might contain many jumps, a live interview where I have to be on, or a difficult phone call, or a large travel agenda. But I have learned to take these jumps and learned too that I nearly always land on my feet. So now in your journal, what you need to complete is numbers 1 to 5. And everyone is going to be the same. A risk I could take is. A risk I could take is. A risk I could take is. And so on. And 5 of those things. So what kind of risks could you take? What is looming in the background that you've always wanted to do that you haven't been doing? Is there something that always keeps creeping back in your mind that is telling you that you should do? Can you do a part of that? Can you do a small step towards that? Could you do something like it? So those are just ideas for you. So in week 11 memoir, we always go through every week 10 questions, and they're always the same questions. So I'll read them because I didn't read them last week, but I read them the week before, I believe. So those 10 questions to journal in your journal this week are: describe your major relationships in this period of time. Where did you live? Did you live in more than one place? What were the risks you took during this period? Were there risks you wanted to take but did not take during this time? Describe one sound from this period. Did you travel during this time? Where? Why? With who? What goals did you have? Did you accomplish them? Do your goals from this period have anything in common with your goals today? What was a source of adventure for you during this time? How did it compare to today? What other memories feel significant for you from this time? And I would also suggest looking at what tripped you up during these years that made you step away from your dream, and look at, is that still affecting your life now, or could you take some kind of step now with where you're at right now with your health, your life situation, your relationships? Could you try? And if not, what small little thing could you try? Okay, the next topic is relationships, new relationships. So she's talking about basically this monotonous routine of morning pages that we write every morning, 3 pages longhand, free flowing, uncensored, not telling ourselves, not scratching it out, just anything that comes to mind. And sometimes those morning pages take on a life of adventure. As we mine our psyches for insights, we meet an inner and outer world of deep interest. As we explore what we really feel, we find adventure in making authentic new connections. So you never know when doing something alone will introduce you to a new friend. I've seen many times that new relationships are chanced upon people that undertake the tools. As we know ourselves better and take ourselves out on the adventures that call to us, we often meet kindred spirits along the way. So this is all about forging new friendships and going out and doing things that would enable you to meet new people and kindred spirits. And I think that just sometimes is chanced upon as well, as we just seem to come across people in our everyday life that become friends. I know that as I've been going through chemo, every time I go up to that level in the hospital, these nurses and people have followed my journey the entire way. I have made so many friends through such a devastating circumstance. And I just think that that's so powerful. And a lot of them are people that I could hang out with outside of different things. And I find that those friendships that you make spontaneously when you don't least expect them are almost the sweetest. I also had an experience where I ran into an old friend and we rekindled that friendship. And it's so much better than it ever even was before because we have more time to spend together and different things like that. So I would suggest to you that if you could think of a friend that you haven't touched base with lately, who could you just check in on? Who's been on your mind that you haven't called? If you have that inkling of feeling that you should call that person, then I believe that you should call them. There is a reason for that feeling. So it is up to each of us to forge a new identity in retirement. Our identity begins not with how others see us, but how we see ourselves. Morning pages reveal our daily emotional terrain as we reflect on the past and plan for the future. Artist dates put us in touch with ageless, lighthearted part of ourselves, and allowing ourselves to blossom and explore in these ways, we find ourselves more secure in who we are and able to connect authentically with others. So she goes to talk about a widower. He tries to resign himself to a future without women. I don't get looked at anymore. I feel like a predator. He's an attractive man in his 60s and he's got laugh lines and it's different for him. Recently, he got a new driver's license with a new photo and he said, "That's what I look like? I still feel young in my mind. I just don't look it." So many times that I have felt that same way. At the airport on a trip to Europe, Randolph asked if he had yet turned 70. If so, he could keep his shoes on while going through security. And he said, "Don't rush me." He willingly relinquished his shoes, eager to claim the 5 years that he wasn't. When pushed to explore his pain further, he admits, I guess I feel replaceable. This is a core of much of the struggle retirees or people starting over in life have with age. It also ignores the central fact that no one is replaceable. And in the words of great spiritual teacher Ernest Holmes, it is right and necessary that we should be individuals. The divine spirit never made any two things alike. No two rose bushes, no two snowflakes, no two grains of sand, and no two persons. We are all just a little unique, for each wears a different face, but behind each one is God. Nothing is ever twice alike. And there's two really neat quotes on this page that says, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King Jr. And Margaret Fuller says, if you have knowledge, let others light their candles with it. That's so pretty. I love that one. Okay. It is possible to forge new relationships with the people who would bring us friendship, adventure, and love. Working through our memoir helps us do this. As we revisit, understand, and heal our past, we weave our former selves with our present selves. Doing this, we become stronger. And stronger, we have more to offer the world and the people we will share it with. So I just go ahead and I highlight a lot of things that I want to read in here and share with you, but there's so much I don't like. There's so much pages of stories and things. Oh, the sun is so bright shining in. Can't complain about that. So if you do get the book, you will know that there's just lots more to read than what I'm actually reading. I'm just giving you enough to be able to do the journal prompts and the tasks. So the next task in your journal is going to be called visibility. The first step toward allowing yourself to be seen by new other people is to clearly look at yourself. Looking back in your memoir, choose a time in your life when you felt invisible or believed what you were doing was not worth acknowledging. And allow yourself to just write about it. Dig deep into detail here. Did you spend long days at a farm doing work that you only saw the results of? Was it cold and windy? Did your plaid scarf have a tear in it that you knotted up? Describe everything you can from this memory. You can even write it in third person, which would sound kind of like, he awoke at 3:30 a.m. and boiled water in the rusty pot on the stove as he pulled on his familiar layers of clothes. I love writing like that. I find that you can really get some stuff out that normally wouldn't come out when you write in third person. So that can be really helpful. When you're done writing, you may feel that you have been able to bear witness to yourself, or you may wish to share it with another. You may surprise yourself and your reader with the depth of emotion in a memory that you might have brushed off as forgettable. So that can be a really powerful thing to do. I can't wait to do that one and see what comes up for me. I have not done that task yet. So the next chapter is Reaching New Horizons. And it's all about travel. So obviously that I knew that would come into the book at some point about traveling, and it should be in this chapter called Adventure, Reigniting a Sense of Adventure, for sure, because retirement can mean freedom, and it can be a chance for you to break your routine and actually go do some things that you've always wanted to do, or go and see places that you've always wanted to see, because now you have the time. You don't have to book, like I only have if you only have 2 weeks vacation a year or something like that at your job, and this can be so freeing. Like, retirement can mean freedom, no longer tied to a job and a routine. We are free to travel. During our work lives, many of us only traveled for business. We may have attended conferences in exotic locations that kept us busy, but we didn't enjoy all the beauty around us. And travel in all forms, near and far, breeds adventure. Changing your surroundings, even if it's just a brief day trip to a nearby town, fills our well with images and reminds us of the vast world around us. So I really love that one because you don't have to travel to an exotic vacation location to be able to have a sense of change. I find that even if you go an hour or two into a different place, like every month I drive to my girlfriend's house in that's about an hour and 15 minutes away, and it's just a whole new change of scenery. We hang out, we go for lunch, we have fun, we do things together, and then I go home and I feel like, oh, I've just had like the nicest little change of scenery. So it doesn't have to be so a huge getaway and backpacking Europe for 3 months or anything like that. It can be something small. And it can also be really fun if you drive to a near town or something and go do an artist date there where you're not familiar with exactly every store and everything there. Because I'm actually in a really small town right now. So this is like finding something new to do feels a little bit more difficult. I'm sure it's not, and there's so much to explore. But by just going an hour away can just really open your eyes up, give you a really nice change of scenery. And doing a little investigative work can be really, really helpful for that. And like she says too, there are many ways to travel and expand your horizons. It doesn't have to be a really expensive trip or anything. For some of us, travel involves great amounts of time and planning. For others, it is a weekend in a nearby town in a B&B. But the records of change of scenery will always impact your creativity, bringing both fresh images and fresh insight. And sometimes that can be the best thing for when you have a creative block, or you're having maybe a writer's block, or you're stuck and you just need something fresh, something new, just a quick change of scenery to come back and just feel a sense of renewal and purpose. That can be really powerful. So consider doing something really close if you can't do something far. So the next thing is to take your pen in your journal, and we're going to be doing the task called exploring travel. So complete the following number 1 to 10 down your page. And you can pause this if you want to, if I'm going too fast, at any time that you want. So number 1, a big trip that sounds fun is, and then fill in the blank. Number 2, a small trip that sounds fun is, I've always wished I could see blank. A page I wish I could spend more time. A place I wish I could spend more time is, see, I have to wear those glasses, is blank. Close to home, I'd love to explore blank. It would be fun to travel with who? I'd rather not travel with. I know you can figure that one out quickly. One thing that worries me about travel is blank. One thing that excites me about travel is blank. Maybe I should plan a trip to blank, and ponder those thoughts. I have come up with quite a few things on my own. I'm not really going to share who I'd rather not travel with, but different places that I want to explore. I really want to explore my own country in Canada. I'd really love to go see the Maritimes. I'd love to go to Nova Scotia. That's been on my bucket list. I'd love to just see more of our own country, and because we never do that, we always go out of country to travel, and I feel like that we're missing out a lot by ignoring our own country, and that there's so much here to explore that we haven't been exploring. So that's definitely on my list. It isn't in my foreseeable right close future. So small trips that sound fun are things that are just an hour and a half away is a bigger town, a bigger city center, and there's tons of things that I'd love to do there. So those are on my list. Also, when you're on Facebook, sometimes you're scrolling and you will see events in your area or in your near area. And if you stop to look at those events, they can be really neat. I've seen so many different events that are on there lately that look so neat that I've never even heard of before, and I didn't even know we had. So those can be really fun. Also, I usually do Eventbrite journaling sessions, and I do, if you ever go on Eventbrite, you can do free things on there all the time and go to little events just on your own computer or in person. They have tons of things you can get tickets to, and a lot of them you can just type in free and filter it. And you can find tons of stuff on there that are neat. And I've been doing a lot of, well, prior the last few months I haven't, but before that I did tons of free events on there, and they are really powerful and talk about meeting people all over the world. I met so many beautiful people. I have talked to them and kept in touch with some of them from these journal circles. They're just fantastic. So consider Googling or looking in your area for different fun things to do. There's a lot there that we're not taking advantage of. So the next chapter is called Setting New Goals. Accustomed as we may to be reaching goals, or at least involving others to setting goals, is pertaining only to ourselves. As we undertake the practice of morning pages, we will find ourselves naturally setting self-determined goals. And I have noticed that in my morning pages that I'm writing a lot of stuff that is bullet points and a lot of stuff that is just tasks and goals. And plus I love goals. Setting goals sets your inner computer. Setting goals, making progress towards them is energizing. Beginning in our morning pages, we explore our desires in a free-form way. Day after day, ideas come into focus. From the page, concrete plans emerge. We are getting to know ourselves one word at a time, and one word at a time, we become empowered. We can also set large goals in retirement, and it is not uncommon at this point in the memoir that larger goals may be whispering to you. Some of us are well aware of them. Other times they sneak up on us. We may feel jealous of others doing something that we wish we could be doing, and it may take an outside eye to help us see what we're looking and longing for. Writing morning pages keeps our goals in our sight. It is nearly impossible to write day after day and not have inklings of what you want to do next. And these inklings ignored will only grow stronger. So who here is like setting goals? And who here does not set goals because, well, you tell me. I'd love to know why you don't set goals and why you do set goals. And if you do set goals, do you reach your goals? Do you reach your big goals? Do you reach your small goals? Or do you reach no goals? Do you not set goals because you fear that you won't complete them? I'd love to know, because I love doing goals, and I have definitely not reached all my goals. I've definitely not hit all my big goals or my little goals, but by doing that, I definitely am hitting a lot of the smaller ones that are working their way up to the big ones. So she talks about naming your goal and working backwards, which is typically anything you'll learn now on the internet of how to achieve your goal is basically, here's your huge goal. What are all the little baby steps you need to do to reach that goal, and working backwards to get to that goal? Like, what do I need to do next? What is the actual next step? And just making them small enough that they're doable. She says, remembering that each step is accomplishable and you're able to move forward. There's no such thing as jumping from here to the horizon. But we can learn a step or two at a time. We make progress forward. Moving ahead is always an option. Moving ahead, we're inspired to create more. With the willingness to name our dream and acknowledge it, we move into the life we have previously only dreamed of. So the first thing we're going to do is to set a small goal. And so I want you to write in your journal. And what she says is, we are only one goal away from feeling an accomplishment. Some of our goals are large and some are small. Accomplishing a small goal primes the pump and inspires us to set another. Choose one small goal you can accomplish today. Name and accomplish it. Note your feeling of satisfaction. Does another larger goal now wink at you? Do you wink back? Are you ready to take it on? And so write down in your memoir, your journal, what that goal is and start small. That's just the first step. So if you already have a bunch of goals, I suggest that you just pick a smaller one that you've kind of set to the back burner that maybe has come up in your pages over and over during the past 12 weeks, that you feel this sense of that it's been on your mind for years and you've never done it. Like what could you do that is just like a small stepping stone towards that goal? And that's your goal this week. That's your tasks this week. So basically, we're at the end of week 11. I can't believe it already. So let's do a weekly check-in. Have you done your morning pages every morning? If not, don't beat yourself up on it. Just ask yourself. She just wants to know, like, what's your experience doing them? It's just so that you know. You're just learning from something new every single week about yourself. Why didn't you do them? Why did you do them? Did you get them done? Did you not? Did you do an artist date? What was it like? Did you discover anything more you'd like to explore? Did you take your walks? What did you notice along the way? Did you have any aha moments or breakthroughs this week? And you don't have to. It's okay. If 1 week here and 1 week there, you're not having any amazing moments or anything, it's no big deal. Like it will connect with you at the perfect time when you're meant to read that and do that exact thing. Everything will be synchronicity. Speaking of that, did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? Did you get a sense of humility or a sense of being somehow guided by a higher power? What did you find in your memoir that you would like to explore more fully? How would you like to explore it? If you have a loaded memory that you feel requires further attention and you aren't sure what additional action to take, don't worry about it. Just keep moving forward. And I love that. Just don't stress about anything that's coming up. It's just coming up as a reminder of what is possible in the future, what you could do. Don't ever think that it's bringing up memories that they can't be utilized in a positive way, that everything that comes up is meant to come up as like a synchronicity to inspire you, to motivate you to move forward and to do some of those things that you've always wanted to do and bring you back some of that creative spark. So that's it, friends. That was a really great week. Guess what the last chapter is? Reigniting a Sense of Faith, week 12. Wow. Look where we are. And look where we started. So when you finish this, you are going to be a finisher. If you have started projects and things before and never finished them, and you feel like that's something that you always do, like chronically start things and don't finish them, you are going to finish this. So you're going to do this together. Even if you do bullet points in your journal here and there a little bit, and you miss some morning pages and walks, and you don't do an artist date every week, that's okay. You don't have to. It's not in concrete. It's just do what you can. Every small step will lead you to think new thoughts, have a deeper self-reflection. You're doing the inner work. You're doing it. So I can't wait to see you next week, friends. If you like this book club and you enjoying my content, please consider liking and subscribing. I love to hear from everybody. I'll answer every comment. Thank you guys so much, and share this with a friend. Share my channel with a friend, and maybe they're interested in doing that book. All right. I will see you next week for our last week in the book club. Bye, friends.